Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ruby here again with another video for you guys, and today I finally have my go-to bronze sultry glam. I did it in a get ready style because on this particular day I did my test shoot for my agency, which is the Avante group, and I wanted to show and share a few more techniques on how to make photo-friendly makeup. And besides that, I just wanted to show you guys how easy this look can be. It's easily achievable. I believe it's super flattering, and it's just a look that can take you for all different occasions, and that's why it's my go-to glam. I really love this look. I hope you guys do, so enjoy. Alright guys, now starting with concealer, I'm covering up my dark circles with NYX HD concealer in the color Porcelain. I'm not necessarily highlighting or brightening them up, I'm just neutralizing them and covering up the dark circles. We'll be going and brightening them later. Now, the next thing I'm about to do is a different technique of highlighting and contouring. I'm taking a very light colored foundation, which I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless formulation, also in the shade Porcelain. And I'm dotting that right on the tops of my cheekbones where I would want to accentuate them and bring them light and just like a lifted appearance. So as you can tell, I'm just dotting that where I would naturally go in with the powder, highlighter, or even my concealer. But this foundation is just super light and it's super yellow, and I like that to brighten up my face. So I'm using the foundation versus concealer. But yeah, like I said, it's just a different technique of highlighting and contouring. After I dot it on my face, I let it sit there for a little while so that it can get just tacky enough where it doesn't slide around the face, and for some reason, to me, it helps the foundation last a little bit longer and just like the coverage build up a little bit easier. So I'm letting the dots of foundation sit on my face, and then I'm going to go in and brighten up the under eye now. I'm using my very favorite True Isaac Mizrahi Radiance Boosting Pen. Like I said in my last video, this pen does not have any glitter, sheen, or glowiness to it at all. It is just a very brightening peach shade. It's perfect for anyone who has a lot of texture on their skin because it's brightening, but it doesn't illuminate or accentuate any pores or texture, so it's really, really great. After I have my under eye brightener on, I'm going to let that sit for a little bit and get a little bit tacky as I blend out my foundation. I'm using a mix of the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, and I believe I have like a Makeup Forever or Urban Decay one mixed in there. I'm just taking the same technique you guys saw in my last video with taking my Buffer Real Technique brush and packing the foundation into my areas of concern, then buffing around it. So since I want a really full coverage makeup look, I'm also taking the foundation brush to blend out the concealer. I do love the Beauty Blender from time to time, but for a look like this, I want to keep the coverage still full, so I'm Real Techniques buffing brush and blending out the under eye area. For me, that's how you keep the integrity of the coverage and the formulation. So after we get one nice even layer, I like to go back in with the Tarte Shape Tape just because it's super full coverage, and especially for a test shoot where there's going to be super harsh flash and these photos are going to be online for people to see who you are, you definitely want to make sure you have a flawless base. So I'm taking the extra step and putting the Tarte Shape Tape just on my cheek areas to cover up any additional scarring that keeps peeking through. Now when we're all done buffing in the foundation, if you feel the need to go in and brighten up your under eyes, feel free. If not, you can stop here. But for me, I do like my under eyes a little bit brighter, so I just added a little bit more of the True Isaac Radiance Boosting Pen. Now this next step is something that I don't do too often, but I will do for special occasions, and that is cream contouring. I took the NYX 6-pan concealer palette and I started to just contour my face in the way that I would with a powder product. I didn't want to go too in depth with this technique because contouring is dependent on your own face shape, and I cannot stress that enough. Where I contour may not necessarily be where you need to contour, so please just take this technique and apply it to where you would naturally contour. Alright, now I'm doing my favorite thing, which I don't know why it's my favorite thing, but it is, and that's highlighting the under eye. And I'm taking my favorite Wet n Wild Contour Duo, the same one that I showed in my April favorites, and the same one I showed in my last makeup tutorial. You guys, I love it. If you haven't tried it, go for it. So I am using that to highlight my under eye area and also smooth out the fine lines where product may have built up. And I believe I showed that technique in my last tutorial, but I'm pretty much just really highlighting that area and keeping true to that reverse contouring technique, where I'm taking the under eye powder very close to my nose area so that my under eye area seems brighter and my nose seems slimmer, which is what contouring is all about. Alright, now we're going to be moving on to my favorite steps, and that's contouring and bronzing. I am actually using the other side to my Wet n Wild Contouring Duo and also the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I used a matte and somewhat of a satin bronzer to give a really natural glow but still defined, and I really do love these colors. I think they work for my warm skin tone. They'll work on a lot of warm skin tones. And like I said, I like a super bronzy look, so I'm even dusting on my nose area and all my eyes just to get everything uniformed. And also, I'm keeping those around because they're going to be a pivotal point in the eyeshadow. Notice that I'm contouring everything except for the cheekbones, and I'm going to be doing the same thing with the highlighting. I'm using Wet n Wild's Precious Petals highlighter. It's literally one of my favorite ones, and I'm just putting that on the high points of my face to make everything prominent and illuminated and glowy. Look at that glow. My god, I can't believe this highlighter is $5! Crazy! Oh my god, you guys, I have to show you like the craziest thing that happened when I was getting ready. Like literally, I'm just gonna keep quiet and see if you guys can hear it. I literally got so scared. I don't even know what noise that was, but like I live in Cleveland and I'm getting ready in front of a window and I heard that and it scared the crap out of me. So like it took me a second, but I just like had to leave that clip into the video because I thought it was so funny. Like my facial expressions, so funny. It was so. Alright, so now I'm just dusting off the bake from my under eye and dusting that on my cheeks and applying a little bit more setting powder just to lock in that coverage. Like I said, I had a long day that day and I wanted to stay flawless, so I wanted to really lock in the coverage, and I'm just setting my cheek areas. I believe I mixed the Wet n Wild Photo Finish powder and the under eye brightening powder together to get my perfect little shade, and really just packed that onto my cheek areas and dusted it off. Now I'm just going over the areas where I already bronzed and just enhancing the bronze in case when I dusted the bake off it like faded it off or faded it away. And now I'm going to go in and start contouring and bronzing my cheek areas. Again, I don't want to go too in depth with this just because contouring is really specific to everyone's face. I can go and do a contour video in the future, but I just don't want to get too in depth with that right now. But if you are following this technique at home, contour your face to just your normal facial features and what you're comfortable with, okay? And I'm taking that all around my forehead, my temples, my cheekbones, all of those areas. Now I'm just doing the cleaning up technique just so that it's nice and crisp under the contour line. Now one trick to flawless contour blending is when you take the contour shade and you dust it up the cheek a little bit, as you just saw me do. So I made the strict line and I just kind of feathered that up. Now, since sometimes I personally get a little heavy-handed with my bronzing, I'm just taking my sponge with the brightening under eye powder again and just cleaning up that under eye area and just making sure that everything is still nice and balanced. Now I'm damping my highlighting brush with a little bit of the Mario Badescu Cucumber Aloe and Green Tea Spray, and then I'm dipping that into my favorite highlighter, which is, yes, the Wet n Wild Precious Petals, of course. I really like it, and I'm just topping that on top of my cheekbones. I told myself not to go too crazy with the highlighter since it was going to be a lot of flash, but I couldn't help it. I went a little bit overboard. However, my advice to you, if you are taking a lot of photographs, although it is indoor, I would say just tone it down with a highlighter since it is a test shoot, but for me I just couldn't help it. But okay, so now for a blush, I went with something with a neutral undertone that has a little bit of a rosy flush. I just wanted to keep everything pretty neutral overall, but of course I want to add a little bit of that color back in since it is going to be under bright flash. You don't want to be washed out, so I used Bare Minerals Golden Gate Matte and Inner Beauty. Then, like I mentioned in my last video, to keep the uniformity of colors and tones, I'm taking the same highlighter that I used on my cheeks and putting that under my brow bone, and I'm actually dusting that on the tops of my cheekbones as well. Okay, so now I have the brows on, which I did off camera just because it's easier for me to do that. I will be filming a brow tutorial soon. However, taking the bronzer shade that you applied on your face, use that as your transition shade. This is going to help tighten the look and make it look more soft and natural. Since we will be smoking out a bunch of warmer and deeper colors on the crease, I really want to extend this transition color and really blow it out all the way up to the under brow bone area. Now this next product I'm applying is actually a blush. It's the KCO powder blush in the color Fresh. I don't care that it's a blush. I'm in love with the color of it. It is a fresh terracotta kind of color. It's very warm. Now that I buffed that out in the crease, I'm going to buff that onto the lid. This is going to start to build the color for the deeper color that we're going in with next. Now I'm going in with one of my favorite eyeshadows of all time. You can see it's very well loved. This is the famous Bobbi Brown eyeshadow in the color Camel, and that's exactly the shade it is. It is a deep matte, very yellow based, orange base brown. And it is absolutely beautiful for olive complexions with dark eyes. However, if you don't like these colors, you can use the same technique. The only trick would just be graduating with whatever color story you want to use. Perhaps if you wanted to do like an olive eye, you want to continue with the warm tones. If you want to do a like cool tone blue eye, just graduate with the same colors but keep it with the same undertone. I feel like that's how you get a smooth smoky eye, is keeping the undertone with throughout all of the different shadows and just building it up with the intensity and darkness. So now I'm going to start building the faux liner. And my faux liner, and what it is, it's just eyeshadow builds up and smoked out over and over again. It's nothing new. It's just creating a definition with shadow instead of a liner. I obviously have lash extensions. Those are not my real lashes, they're lash extensions. So I don't really like to put a lot of eyeliner or extra lash glue or excessive mascara, anything like that. So I like to just create definition with eyeshadow. Right now I am using another Bobbi Brown shadow. This is in the color Toast. It is a very cool toned like grayish, like it's like a grayish taupe. And I know I just finished saying to keep it all in the same family, but when it comes to defining and like a liner look, you want to start, you know, going towards those tones so that that all flows together as well. And this color is so perfect. It complements warm tones, but it's still a really good starting point for a smoky liner. So in between each liner shade, I go in with my buffing brush and just continue to blend out and almost blend the little bit of the eyeliner into the crease, just so it creates that smoky cat eye kind of look. So then I'm just taking the camel shade with a little bit of that toe shade and running that underneath the eye just to bring the warmth and the cool tone shades down there. Now using a deeper shade of a cool tone brown, I'm just building up the smoke. So I'm taking a defining liner brush and a fluffy pencil brush. I am just working that along the lash line and, like I said, blending in between each just to bring that smoke up and just blend it out. Now taking Urban Decay Backdoor, which is a very dark, almost like a black brown shade. I'm using that and I'm getting really close to the lash line and just taking the same technique where you're building the color from lightest to darkest, and the darkest being the closest to the lash line. The whole point of this technique is to make the eye look very blown out and smoky and blended. So between each step, don't forget to get your blending brush and blend out the liner area and just kind of almost buff that in to the crease. I don't want to say buff that in, but just make sure that it is all blended in smoothly. And then also take that under the eye. If you feel like you have any fallout, go in with your sponge and clean up any areas again. Alright, now to finish off the eye look, I'm taking a Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. And I'm just taking that through the bottom lashes and also on the top lashes as well, but I'm not doing the whole lash. I'm just going to where my natural lashes are, just so I can make them a little bit darker to blend in with my lash extensions. Okay, now I'm just taking one of my favorite lipsticks, which is by the Balm Cosmetics. They make some of my absolute favorite liquid lipsticks that are matte, and this one is in Sincere. It is just it's picking up a little bit warmer, just like it was in the last video, although they're different shades. It is just like a very rosy, neutral rose. And I'm taking a little bit of the Giorgio Armani lipstick in the shade 01. That one is a very pinky nude. Like, it's a very light nude with a little bit of pinky undertone. And after that, I'm all done with my makeup. Now we're going to move on to hair. Alright, just add a few spritz of your favorite setting spray and that completes this look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my go-to bronzy glam look. If you guys have any more video requests or any questions about anything, leave them down below. Otherwise, subscribe to see more videos coming up soon. And if you're ever curious about me and my daily life, my Instagram is @TheRubyMartinez, so go ahead and follow that and see what I'm up to. Alright guys, give this video a thumbs up and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks!